bloody conflict has redrawn the map of the Middle East in a year which has seen Israel reassert its position as the region's superpower. It started at a time when the Jewish nation was still reeling from October 7 attacks, which left 1,200 dead and 251 hostages dragged to Gaza. But today, Benjamin Netanyahu would appear to hold nearly all the cards after a string of stunning successes shifted the balance of power. The cost in lives has been huge and the risks and pressure enormous, but Netanyahu now appears to be winning. He's faced a rebellion at home over claims his intelligence chiefs failed to spot warning signs that Hamas was about to attack, and he's been accused of prolonging the war to save his own skin while hostages died. He's resisted huge pressure from his nation's main ally, US President Joe Biden, and had a warrant for his arrest issued for war crimes after his Gaza offensive killed more than 40,000 people. But when the pressure on him was at its height this summer, he doubled down by turning Israel's guns on Hezbollah in Lebanon, and it's this gamble which appears to have transformed his fortunes. After turning much of Gaza into smoking ruins and driving Hamas survivors underground, Israeli forces moved their focus north to Lebanon. But this time an element of intelligence and cunning was injected into a ruthless and well-planned campaign. It kicked off in August with an incredible pager and walkie-talkie bomb campaign, in which hundreds of Hezbollah fighters were issued with pagers sabotaged by Israeli agents. Explosives hidden inside the devices were triggered to explode at the same time, leaving several dead and many more maimed and blinded. With the terror group's ranks gripped by panic and its command and control in disarray, Netanyahu doubled down yet again, defying Biden to order a ground invasion of southern Lebanon. Israeli commandos then set about smashing the Iran-backed group terror tunnel network and driving its fighters away from Israel's northern border. But that campaign was then combined with another intelligence-led blitz to wipe out Hezbollah's entire leadership. Within days, long-time Hamas bogeyman Hassan Nasrallah had been killed by a bunker buster blast in Beirut, followed by his most likely successor, followed yet again by virtually every top commander. With their leadership gone and troops fleeing in chaos, it was only a matter of time before Hezbollah agreed to a ceasefire, which left Hamas allies in Gaza weak and isolated. With both terror groups decapitated and nullified as a fighting force, their backers in Iran attempted to unleash hell for the second time during 2024 with a huge ballistic missile and drone attack on Israel. But for the second time, Israel's Iron Dome and Arrow interceptors defended the assault, which caused only minimum casualties and damage. Soon after, Israeli forces this time, more by luck than judgment, then finally had the long-awaited revenge Netanyahu and his people had been praying for ever since October the 7th. A routine patrol of troops came across 3 Hamas fighters and engaged them in a firefight, killing them all. But it was only when the troops pulled the scarf from the face of one of the men that they realized they had claimed the life of Hamas kingpin Yahya Sinwar, the terrorist fiend who planned and ordered the October 7 attacks. The virtual destruction of Hezbollah and Hamas deeply wounded Iran, which had planned a devastating attack on Israel from all sides to achieve its dream of wiping the Jewish nation from the face of the earth. But much worse was to follow for Ayatollah Khamenei and his fanatical henchmen. Early in December, Islamist groups in Syria seized upon the weakness of tyrant Bashar al-Assad's regime caused by the blows struck to his allies in Lebanon and Gaza. And within 10 incredible days, the northern city of Aleppo had fallen, followed by Homs and then finally the capital Damascus, from where Assad ran for his life to Russia. Crucially, Assad's chief backer, Vladimir Putin, failed to ride to the rescue, leaving Iran and its entire axis of resistance isolated.
افتحوا الشبابيك الله يلعنك يا إسرائيل لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله.
It's impossible to say how the dust will settle on what has been a tumultuous year across the region, but it is clear that continuing instability and the arrival of US President Donald Trump will make 2025 another very busy news year.